Welcome back to Come Geek Some Horror. Today we're looking at more scenes that are still terrifying to watch, with some of these sticking with you for many years after the movie has actually ended. Sinister. Sinister is one of those movies that is always and constantly brought up in every scariest movie ever made list, but that's not why we're looking at the movie today. No, we're actually here for one scene and one scene only: the Lawnmower 86 reel. Ethan Hawke's Ellison Oswalt is making his way through a series of Super 8 films that he has found in the attic, to which he lands on the aforementioned Lawnmower 86 reel. Now this clip is one of the greatest build-ups in horror. To be honest with you, more than likely in possibly any genre. We see a family in a house, they're enjoying their evening. We then proceed to go into the shed with the camera following in first person mode, and we retrieve a lawnmower. Now comes possibly one of the greatest jump scares of all time. Hell, it's definitely top 5. We watch as the lawnmower is just going along the lawn, but then all of a sudden we have screams and we are watching the lawnmower just completely tear up the family's heads. It's insane, but it's just so awesome. The Mist. The Mist does something that many horror movies try to do, but they always end up falling flat on their faces. And that is making the ending so horrific and so downbeat and bleak that you feel sad for days afterwards. The scene in question is Thomas Jane's David Drayton, along with his family and other survivors in the car. He believes that being rescued is impossible and that they will die a brutal and horrible death. So to spare them this, he shoots them. He kills them all in the car. Then we see that the mist just clears like the darkness at dawn, and the military are right in front of them. He then realizes that if he literally drove 30 seconds more down the road, his family and the other survivors would still be alive. As we said, it's a horrible and bleak ending, which is actually very different than the book, as in the book they keep driving and have hope for the future of mankind. Now the movie was changed thanks to Frank Darabont, the brilliant writer-director of many great movies and TV shows, who wanted to show how human panic can change someone from being a logical thinker to someone who needs to act on something so wrong and an absolute impulse in an instant. The Fly. This day and age, remakes, reboots, requels, legacy sequels, whatever the hell you want to call them, are a dime a dozen. But back in 1986, David Cronenberg decided that he was going to remake The Fly. What came out of this is one of the greatest horror movies ever made, and it's also a very sad movie as well. We witness Jeff Goldblum's Seth Brundle transform into a horrific monster. But in a movie filled with many great scenes, which can cause you to be scared and horrified for days on end after watching this, we're actually talking about the birthing scene. So, Gina Davis's character Ronnie, she turns out to be pregnant, and the father is Seth. Now, they keep thinking that, oh my god, it's gonna be half human, half monster. So Ronnie actually has a dream where she gives birth to a maggot. Yes, a maggot in a pod. This scene is so horrifying that I'm still having the yuck feels about it now, and I haven't watched this movie for about a year. That's how good this movie is. But obviously, going through the movie, you do have a lot of other scenes which are like disgusting and like, oh my god, but the birthing scene is number one. The Exorcist. To me, The Exorcist is the greatest single horror movie ever made. So many things went into making of this movie to become so great, from a brilliant script, to the phenomenal direction by William Friedkin, to the performance of every actor in it. Hell, this shows that they wanted to craft a movie that would be remembered. And boy does it. So many scenes are memorable, but the scene in question is the head turn. Now, not when she's being exorcised, but the 180-degree head turn. We see Ellen Burstyn's Chris MacNeil rushing into Regan's room, where Linda Blair, her amazing performance as Regan, is doing unspeakable things with a crucifix. After a battle to stop her, Regan backhands her mother to the floor, and this is where we get possibly one of the greatest effects ever happen. Regan's head turns completely 180. She looks at her mother, and then in the voice of the recently deceased character Burke Dennings, just looks at her and says, "Do you know what she did? your cunting daughter. This is terrifying, and it's just so mind-grabbing that you're like, oh my god. Having the voice of this guy coming out of an 11-year-old girl whose head is 180 degrees facing the wrong way, this is nightmare fuel and has been since 1973. The Thing. In 1982, John Carpenter sadly had to go up against Steven Spielberg's E.T. But the movie he put out against it is, in my eyes, one of the top 5 greatest sci-fi or horror genre movies ever made. Even if it did need a number of years before people actually realized just how goddamn good The Thing is. As we talked earlier about with The Fly, reboots and the like, they weren't really common back then. And The Thing is a remake of the 1951 movie The Thing from Another World, which is actually on a TV set in the original and the greatest slasher movie ever made, Halloween. So the scene we are going to be talking about today, though, is, well, the chest-bursting, arm-eating defibrillator scene, of course. In one of the many outstanding effects scenes in this movie, we see Copper, the base's doctor and physician, trying to revive Norris, who is on the table. Copper grabs the defibrillator, charges it up, and is about to shock Norris until Norris's chest just opens up and turns into a giant mouth with some of the gnarliest teeth ever put on silver. Copper's arms are chomped off while the others burn and try to kill Norris's body. But then it goes even further. We get his entire head just breaking off from his neck and sprouting legs. What? You know? The head is then incinerated with the flamethrower by Kurt Russell's MacReady character. But the scene is just so hardcore from the get-go. The chest opening, the arms being ripped off, the head breaking away from the neck like pizza dough just being stretched. This still lives in my mind and nightmares since I saw this as a kid in the late 80s. Yeah, that is absolutely nuts. What the hell were we thinking watching all these horrors in the 80s and 90s as kids? You can see why a lot of us are traumatized, but we just love horror. That's all for this list though, guys, so let us know in the comments what scenes have stuck with you since you saw them. And until next time, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.